Dendrobiums flowering everywhere. This is an amazing time of year, and dendrobiums are enough to confuse you. But a much easier way. Okay, let's go back to the leaves again. We're just going to have a look at some of the different dendrobiums and the difference between them. So the main thing we're going to discuss today is soft cane dendrobiums and hard cane dendrobiums and what the difference is between them and which one is going to be more suitable to you and where you're going to be putting it. So, welcome to the Nature Company. If this is the kind of information you're interested in, please hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already, and that notification bell to be notified of all our upcoming content so you don't miss out on a thing. So I'm doing this video just a teensy little bit too late for all of our Dendrobium nobles. These are some of the soft cane dendrobiums, but it's probably the right time for some of the hard cane dendrobiums like our Chrysotoxum. So perhaps that's the best place to start. Perhaps the different flowering seasons is going to be a good indication as to which is a hard cane and which is a soft cane dendrobium. To a degree, you can get that right because often the Dendrobium noble types are some of the earliest to flower. Sort of late winter, early spring, just as those temperatures start to fluctuate, as the rain starts to come, they burst into bloom. And they give you those full, big, massive show. So this is one of our last Dendrobium nobles still in flower. This is Dendrobium Stella Gold, but not to say this is not a pure Dendrobium noble. This is an interspecific hybrid, and it's got approximately 9 different Dendrobium species that have gone into producing this bloom. But they're all the soft cane varieties. So signatum, milliform, heterocarpum, all sorts of things like that that have gone into producing this plant with these amazing blooms. And it's actually got a beautiful scent too. A lot of these Dendrobium nobles or the Dendrobium noble hybrids have got a beautiful, soft, gentle scent. This has almost got a citrusy sort of floral, not flavor, but scent to it. And it is just quite exquisite. Not only do you get this amazing color, and this specific one has lasted now. This is the 2nd month. So this is really a long-lasting bloomer as opposed to a lot of the other Dendrobium nobles that you may get between 2 to 4 weeks out of. But this is really one of the stunners. Also, some of the other soft cane dendrobiums that you get, also interspecific hybrid. This is Dendrobium Hamana Lake with these beautiful purple petals and that whiteness on the lip, that pure white. And also quite a complex lineage that's gone into this to produce the dwarf size. And then so we're asking, now we know all our soft cane dendrobiums, even the fimbriatums, seem to be flowering early. So is that one of the characteristics? Well, you can almost say so, but there's rule breakers everywhere. Dendrobium moschatum, this is a late spring to early midsummer bloomer with those beautiful peachy colored blooms with that almost phragmipedium kind of lip to it, and a very musky sort of scent. It's really a stunner. But also, these flowers are extremely short-lived. You'll be lucky to get 2 weeks out of them. But well worth it. When they bloom, they really are stunning. And that's not the only one. Again here, we have Dendrobium vaginalis. This one is going to give you it will give you autumn to early winter flowers. So that's why we had planted up this basket with several different noble hybrids. Dendrobium fimbriatum, variation ocularis, and the Dendrobium vaginalis to give flowers all year round. But please don't go do this. It turns into such a mess, as you can see, and doesn't give you the display that you really wanted. Rather, have them individually so you can really appreciate each one. They just didn't turn out the way I had expected. A bit of an experiment gone wrong, and we'll have to sort this out one day. So also, the vaginalis has not been too happy getting as much sun as what the fimbriatum and the noble prefer. So we're going to have to sort that out and reorganize this poor baby. Let me just put him out the way. And also, of course, another soft cane variety is Dendrobium cassiope. This is an interspecific hybrid between Dendrobium moniliform and Dendrobium noble. So it gives you that more compact version, easier to grow indoors than what your Dendrobium noble is going to. So this is a good alternative if you can't get your Dendrobium nobles to grow indoors. Sorry, this is turning more into a show and tell than it is into a discussion, but we're getting lost here slightly. So the hard cane Dendrobiums, their flowering generally starts from about mid-spring, so a little bit later than what the general soft cane Dendrobiums would start flowering. So you'll get that first flush with the soft canes, and then generally the hard canes will then start after. And you'll generally, from about mid-spring to midsummer, that sort of range. But of course, again, those exceptions to the rules, things like your Dendrobium kingianum. These, if you're keeping them in the right conditions, you can actually almost get them to flower on and off throughout the year. Although sometimes they do prefer to get a bit of winter rest, like a lot of the other Dendrobiums, they'll still manage to pop up some flowers during that winter period too, if the conditions are right. And then, of course, things like your Dendrobium phalaenopsis, Dendrobium bigibbum. Also, if you've got ideal conditions in those nice sort of tropical areas where you're having warm days and cooler nights, these you can keep and flower the whole year round. But here we get terribly cold in winter. Our evening temperatures can drop to about 5 degrees. So we'll end up without any flowers during that winter period. It's just a little bit too cold for them. They like warmer conditions. So there's another thing with the hard cane Dendrobiums. They often tend to be intermediate to warm growing. And then again to downright hot growing, where these Dendrobium phalaenopsis and the Dendrobium kingianums can actually take very, very hot temperatures. Think of Thailand, 45 degrees in the summer, and we have amazing flowers on these. And those hot full sun days in the middle of Australia, and your kingianums thrive. With your Dendrobium nobles, in the areas that they come from, in those high Himalayan areas, all the way across India, down into China, through Thailand, Myanmar, down into Malaysia. They're often in the mountainous areas, and they can take temperatures all the way down to 0. They don't like frost, but they don't mind those low temperatures in the winter, that is. So that's when they go into their rest period. These Dendrobium phalaenopsis and bigibbums can stay in a growth period all year round, if they're in the right conditions. But your noble types, no matter where they are, they're going to really want that winter rest, especially if you're going to want flowers. Because if you don't give them any winter rest, for one, you can overwater them, drown them, and they'll start to rot. And 2, you won't get any flowers. You'll land up with lots and lots of kikis and very few flowers. This one we had done particularly with this Hamana Lake because I needed more to put onto my trees. So we had kept this watered over the winter period to make sure that I got enough kikis then to go put on the trees. And I was happy to see that I still got some flowers. But with these, we gave them that winter rest and allowed them to bloom. So they can take really low temperatures in winter. Your chrysotoxums and other of the densiflora type dendrobiums are intermediate to warm growing, and generally what forces their flowering is also a little bit of winter rest, but also that temperature drop, that day-night temperature drop that happens as the temperatures start warming up. That's what then causes their flowers to burst. So they're not going to enjoy as cold a temperature as what the noble types. So that's often one of the reasons that a lot of these interspecific hybrids have been done, to get all these different flower color variations with cold tolerant orchids. So that's always a big bonus. And with some of these other hard canes like the biggie bums and the Dendrobium phalaenopsis, they really don't like temperatures below 15 degrees. Anything below 15 and they start being problematic. For one, not flowering, but they just really don't like it. But again, they need that temperature differentiation between day and night to really put on those blooms. So 15 degrees Celsius, about 40 degrees Fahrenheit temperature variation, day-night temperature variation to push all those blooms. So another big difference between, or to help you identify between hard cane and soft cane dendrobiums, is their leaves. For one, you'll notice the Dendrobium noble or the soft cane dendrobiums often have a very much lighter shade of green than what your hard cane dendrobiums have. It gets almost that yellowishy color, which is when they actually bloom the best. The hard cane dendrobiums almost have this deep forest green to them, and that's what they prefer to have. And if you start yellowing the leaves too much, they may be getting too much sun. So talking about the sun, there's another difference. A lot of the hard cane dendrobiums don't like too much sun. They like bright light, but not too much sun. Again, kickers to the rule again. Your Dendrobium kingianum, your Dendrobium phalaenopsis and biggie bum. But they're always going to be problematic. Orchids, there's a bunch of different things going on, and we've got to try and keep on top of all of them. Your soft cane dendrobiums, especially the Dendrobium nobles, can actually take full sun all day long. And that's often where I've got mine out in the trees, that they flower their best is with that baking sun on them. And their leaves go a lot more yellow than this. They almost look like a sickly yellow-green, but the plants are dead happy and they just explode into flower every spring. But not all of them are going to accept such full sun conditions. The aphyllum, the anosum, all need very, very bright light conditions because they like to grow up high in the trees, but they don't necessarily want that full sun that the Dendrobium noble is going to take. And that, well, it's not only your Dendrobium noble, it's going to be your Dendrobium fimbriatum, your Dendrobium marchatum. A lot of them do like those full sun conditions. But then again, as I said, your Dendrobium virginalis, your Dendrobium virginalis likes slightly more shade. So Dendrobiums are enough to confuse you. But a much easier way. Okay, let's go back to the leaves again. The leaves of the soft cane dendrobiums are a lot softer. You can actually just carefully work with them, if they'll work with you, and you can actually roll them up. And they're not going to break. They've got a softer, thinner texture to them. They're quite pliable, whereas your dendrobium hard canes are very stiff. There's almost a leathery, cardboardy feel to them, and if you bend them, they're going to snap. They're brittle. So they're thicker, cardboardy, leathery, and relatively stiff and brittle. So that is going to probably be the easiest way to identify the difference between your hard cane dendrobiums and your soft cane dendrobiums, other than the soft cane dendrobiums are often lax or pendulous. They'll bow around the place, whereas, don't look at my Kingianum now, please. This was in way too much shade when we got it, and we're trying to acclimatize it to more sun, so this is bending all over the show too. So pretend you didn't see that. But we see how much more upright all of these hard cane dendrobiums are. So that's probably going to be the two easiest ways to identify the difference between a soft cane dendrobium and a hard cane dendrobium. There we go. Way more upright and stiff. These are the Dendrobium thriciflorums that are wanting to come into bloom now. So in the next episode, we're going to go into show you how to look after some of these a little bit better than I have been doing here, and just to clean them up and keep them tidy so that you're going to get a much better show and a beautiful looking plant. So if I've confused you all the more, I'm terribly sorry for it, but I just bought too many plants and turned into a show and tell more than a descriptive video here. But if you found any of this information helpful, or if you were able to decipher what I was saying, please hit that like button. It helps a lot. Hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell, bing bong, to be notified of all our upcoming content so you don't miss out on a thing. Help us grow as we help your orchids grow.